Hello and welcome to the Uncensored match build-up show. Liverpool, Arsenal at the weekend. Liverpool have to bounce back, don't they, Steve?
Straight into it. Hello, Chris.
Straight on your toes there.
Yes, Liverpool have to bounce back. Yes, they need to win the match.
Brilliant, fantastic, dynamite input from State. Look, I'm joined by Lewis and, of course, Jamie for this Uncensored match build-up show. But before that, we will go to a little bit of a graphic on Arsenal. So, the opposition focus, they're third in the Premier League. They've played 25, won 15, drawn 5, lost 5, scored 54, goals against 28. That's a goal difference of 26, yeah. Points 50, and the form, they've won 4, lost 2 in the last 6 games. Top scorer, Alexis Sanchez, 17 goals in the Premier League, and top assists, Alexis Sanchez, 8 assists. He really is the danger man, though, isn't he, Steve?
Yeah, he's one of the best players in the league, and when he's on form, he can, something that we've said about Liverpool, you know, can Liverpool play badly and win? Sometimes, you know, Arsenal at times can play poorly, and Alexis Sanchez can drag them out. He is that good, and I'll be interested to see where he plays him. You know, at times he operates on the left with Giroud up front, and it was as a bit of a focal point, you know, target man. And then other games he's decided to use him up front. He's played predominantly up front more, but yeah, if you said to me which Arsenal player is the biggest threat, of course it's him. He's by far the best player. And
just sticking on Arsenal for a minute, I think, you know, it's nice to sometimes look at the other team as well, isn't it, Lewis? Are there any other players there that you think, you know, we need to stop them?
The worry is Alexis Sanchez can get a goal from anywhere, doing anything. There could be a free kick. He can always win pens and things like that. It's just, I've got this feeling that they're going to bring Giroud on late, and he's just going to cause all kinds of problems. We know we can't defend set pieces that well, and if Giroud gets the run on anyone, he's a tough striker to defend against, particularly in the latter part of games. So bringing Giroud on is always, I don't know, a bit of a fear, but it's quite a paradox, isn't it, with Liverpool? We are more hopeful playing Arsenal than we are a bottom of the league kind of side with all the good players they've got. Ozil never really seems to do it against us, but, you know,
still class.
Yeah, touch wood, that's what I'm saying. So there's talent there and the speed there. It's just, I'm not that worried.
I don't know if you agree, you've got lots of good to very good players, and it wouldn't surprise you on any day if Danny Welbeck has a very good game, or Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
It would surprise me if Welbeck had a good game.
Well, I think he's a good player. I think, you know, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Theo Walcott, Mesut Ozil.
Theo Walcott's been on fire this year. He's got something like 17 goals for them.
They've got lads who, they're a bit Liverpool though, they can be very hot and cold. So, you know, we've seen Coutinho run games, we've seen Firmino run games, we've seen Mane do it, we've seen Lallana do it. It just hasn't been very consistent all the time. And I think Arsenal are very similar in that. You could pick the entire front six out and go, you know what, they're all very good players, and would you be surprised if he scored? No, you wouldn't. But then, in a very similar Liverpool manner, you wouldn't be that surprised if you don't see Ozil. You know, if he just vanishes, like Chelsea, you know, we just didn't see him, or if Walcott just gets marked out of the game and they're subbed off for half time. That's the boat Arsenal are in now. They're the side who are very similar to us.
They are, and they do a bit more chopping and changing than us, though, don't they, Jamie? I mean, Oxlade-Chamberlain's been very good in centre midfield, well, probably since the turn of the year, in fairness, and, you know, he's a guy that's been played centre midfield, and then all of a sudden he'll turn up on the right and not perform. Now, look, moving it back onto Liverpool, I joked at the beginning of the show, it is about time that Liverpool bounce back, isn't it? Because, you know, that result against Leicester, we didn't show up. Do you think we're going to have the fight in us for this game? Do you think this team is going to turn up?
We need to, because if we lose this game, it's going to be fucking hard to get into that top 4, because they're going to be like an extra 4-5 points ahead of us. We're 4 points drift of Tottenham at the minute, who was sat in second. We've got United creeping up because they have a game in hand. Then Arsenal have a game in hand over us as well, because Southampton were in the League Cup final. We need to win this game, but if Arsenal get a point or 3 points out of this, it's fucking hard. It's going to be dead hard for us.
It's very cliche to say, you know, Liverpool just turn up in the big games. It's hard to ignore that. But the fact is, these are the type of games that haven't given us issues. So you'd expect us to go the same again. Arsenal will try and beat us playing Arsenal footy, which, you know, they should do. You know, they're going to turn up and do it. I don't think I think they should have learned from Spurs not to be too high up the pitch, but we'll find out if they don't. I've got no issue in these games, and you'd expect the players to turn up. I mean, the fact that it's an evening kick-off, you know, 5:30 on a Saturday, is a bonus. I think that helps us a lot. You know, under lights and stuff. I do think that. I think Chelsea and City were later games, weren't they? And to Spurs, sorry, was a later game, wasn't it? And I think that helps us. It's just.
Why do you think that is? Do you think that's being able to get the crowd?
Yes, I think it's the crowd. Yeah, I think more than anything it is the crowd. I think we saw Swansea, and I went, on a Saturday morning. You know, people, and sometimes, rightly so, the atmosphere gets criticised and stuff, but having been to an early kick-off, you kind of understand sometimes why it is. You've just got out of bed, the next minute you're in the match or something. Even Saturday evenings, you can spend all day out, you can build yourself up, you get there at 5:30 and you're ready to go. Having said that, it shouldn't really it shouldn't really affect the players that much, you know what I mean? You're a good player, you should play well regardless.
Well, it's interesting that Klopp does his last training session, am I right in saying, at the same time as the match, doesn't he? So it might be 2 days before Lewis, but he'll put his players at training at 5:30 to just gain that little edge over the other team.
Klopp's always doing these little like minute details that should have like a bigger impact because it all adds up, and that for me is just the sign of a good manager, really, and that's the way the team should be playing, like no matter where we are. I don't know. I don't think it's like Liverpool is more of a spectacle under the lights, and I don't know why it is. We just seem to perform because it's like stage lights, isn't it? And they're there ready to perform. But I don't think Arsenal are too experienced to come to Anfield and we'd be like, oh bloody hell, never been here before. The professional footballers, they've done it on the big stage.
They're a squad full of winners as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, and they're playing well. So as you said, we need to bounce back, but. Is there a fear there against Arsenal? The fact that they play football with the defence and the midfield it's good for a pressing side like Liverpool because we can win the ball back. And it was mentioned a few weeks ago. For the pressing side, we keep the ball too much. Arsenal are a possession team themselves, so let them have the ball. And if it takes Firmino to just nick it off someone and put Mane through again, then so be it. We don't need the ball in for a game like Arsenal. Just let the counter-attacks speak for themselves.
Yeah, I can see why people think that. I really can. And, you know, one of the things that I would sort of say is, are we good enough defensively to give Arsenal the ball, though? Because I think sometimes there is a school of thought where you can say, actually, when we defend as a team, we're very good, a la Manchester City at Anfield on New Year's Eve. We defended as a team then, didn't we? And we can do that. When we're playing other sides, I would feel more comfortable. Arsenal's so good with the ball; they can just bang, bang, bang through goal, and that's a bit of a win.
It's not like they keep their like the way we keep our possession with the back four and Hendo. They keep it with like their midfield round your box. So yeah, it is hard to press their defence because the defence don't have the ball that often. It's the midfield that do it, and I think it was the kind of fear that Brendan Rodgers had, and it goes on. Like one way to be a good defensive team is to keep the ball. If you've got the ball, the other team can't score really. So. Yet there is the threat that Arsenal can just like create an attack out of nothing, but you've got to take these risks, and we'll see on the game day because first 5 minutes in that Leicester game we knew we hadn't turned up, so we need a fast start.
Yeah, okay, well I'm going to go on to the trivia question now, and then we'll have a word from our sponsors. But the trivia question, we'll come to the answer at the end of the show. Name the last 5 players to play for both Liverpool and Arsenal. Okay, last 5 players. Now, just a quick word from our sponsors. The Redmen TV shop is open now. The Coutinho Verse shirt is available, of course, and you can go and get it by clicking the card in the corner. So there you go. I mean, the guy knows what he's talking about clearly, doesn't he?
Sounded like there was a nice voice whoever that was.
I thought so too.
Was it me?
No.
Oh,
Definitely. Have I asked you to record anything?
No.
Cool. So, Jamie, moving back onto Liverpool, how do you think we should set up against Arsenal for this game?
It's a tough one because I honestly thought when we were in La Manga, I thought when the squad was there, I thought we might have changed the formation around, might have changed something around, but with injuries and stuff like that, it's just went back to shite. So it is, isn't it? We're with Hendo out as well. He's an integral part to our team, so I'm not really too sure. It's probably just going to be the same team that comes up against Leicester. Barring Lovren will probably come into the back, which is actually quite vital for us because Lovren is our best centre-back, I think, apart from... Obviously, we've got Matip there as well. Apart from Matip, but Lovren is...
So you're sticking with 4-3-3?
I would stick with that so far.
Who replaces Henderson if he's not available, which doesn't look likely?
It would be Chan, probably, yeah. Or if Lucas will be on the pitch, he's got to be in that midfield role, not centre-back, because he's not a fucking centre-back.
It's interesting, and look, there's no excuses for the performance against Leicester for me, but one of the things that I would say is that we picked up the Jordan Henderson injury on the Friday. We've trained for 2 weeks pretty much. We went to La Manga, and the idea was that Henderson would be playing at 6. You've had 2 weeks to game plan for a Leicester side managed by Claudio Ranieri, and that changes on Thursday evening as well. So I'm not making excuses for Liverpool's performance, but I can understand why it didn't quite go to plan. I also thought that, I don't know whether you agree or whether anyone agrees with this, I think Klopp might have looked at 3 at the back, but we didn't have the players available for that Leicester game. As soon as Henderson goes down and you haven't got Lovren, I don't think you've got the players for 3 at the back, but we did have some success with it second half.
It looked a bit better, didn't it, at times? Chan looked a bit better, I thought, playing as part of a back 3. It's obviously something that doesn't just happen, so it's been worked on that somewhere. It doesn't just go, right, that happens in your results. Because they looked fairly comfortable with it, Coutinho looked like he knew what he had to do, buzzing around the centre and stuff. But I agree with Jamie, actually, I wouldn't change it. I would go for... We've seen this big game strategy. It's worked against Arsenal a couple of times. It's worked against everyone else. I think it would be a bit mad to go, you know what, in a game that we've got Klopp's record in against the better teams is phenomenal. It is really, really good. So why would you change that? This game will suit a Firmino, for example. If it's very much like the Tottenham game where he can, Klopp called it the best centre-forward performance he's seen without someone scoring. Yeah. And I kind of get where he was coming from on that. I think I wouldn't change. I think I would stick the same. I do think Chan is an issue at 6. I really do. I wouldn't be adverse to just flipping the triangle, as Brendan Rodgers would say, and go, at the minute it's a one. At the minute it's the number 6 with 2 buzzing. It wouldn't be that mad to go, you know what, Gini, just come and sit with that Emre Can a little bit, because at the moment Emre Can gets the ball in midfield and he isn't Henderson, so it's unfair to call him, why aren't you doing what Henderson does? Well, I'm Emre Can, I'm not, he is a bit slower. So if the centre halves have got 2 options, to give it to Wijnaldum sometimes, or give it to Can, you're a little bit less predictable, and then let Adam Lallana go and do what he has to do, his pressing and his ability on the ball. I do think, the issue is the squad depth is poor. There's very few changes where you can make where you go, you know what, that'll help. So you could say, well, can you play Origi instead of Firmino? Well, you could. Are you that much better? No, probably not. I do think that's the thing where there's too many players, and it's something that we're going to get to in the summer and stuff, where if he's out, it's not the same team, and that is an issue. And like Jamie said, Jordan Henderson is one of those players where there's no other one.
But it's happening too often, isn't it? And we've said this for so long now. When Coutinho goes, we're not the same team. When Mane goes, we're not the same team. When Henderson goes, we're not the same. When Lovren goes, fucking Lovren, we're not the same team. It's Dejan Lovren.
It's a lack of squad depth.
We just need to adapt, don't we? Like, every other team has similar problems. They will be losing players. I like the idea of saying Wijnaldum next to Chan, because Chan just isn't given any options, and Lallana is chasing down. There's a lot of legs in Firmino and Lallana chasing people down. So that's good, but it seems odd, isn't it? We will play the same team that's just being fucking walloped by Leicester against Arsenal.
Because there's no changes. Because there's no.
But these players.
You couldn't put Kev Stewart there for Chan.
No.
So,
not against Arsenal. Whereas I actually thought that might have been a good option for us against Leicester, because of I don't think Chan suits that role. Whereas you mentioned it briefly there, when Chan moved back to centre back, what he's got is the entire field ahead of him, and he's much better with that.
He's better in space.
He makes his decisions when he picks the ball up, and when he's picking the ball up and everything's in front of him, it's a lot easier for him. Whereas if you pick the ball up and there's 2 players running around, he just panics, and he doesn't, he turns like fucking cream. Paul says it all the time. He turns too slowly. It's not his fault. He's not picking himself. It's something you say regularly, isn't it? Emre Can doesn't pick himself.
Lucas doesn't pick himself as centre half.
Lucas doesn't pick himself, but ultimately, when you get in there, you've got to do a team job, and I don't feel that Emre Can is good enough to do that role for the team like Jordan Henderson is. But
what I would say is that they'll play Ozil in the 10. Yeah. They'll play probably Xhaka and either El Neni or Oxlade in the midfield, and it'll be Ozil in the 10. Ozil's game mightn't affect Chan that much. You know what I mean? He's not one who's going to... He's not like Firmino when he's like a rabid dog.
Oh yeah, he'll just leave you alone.
He just walks off the pitch.
If there's a tackle going in, Ozil go, yeah, you can have that ball, mate. I do not want it.
He will just walk about. His defensive duties aren't important to him. They're just not. So then maybe that does make it easier for Chan Where the other day, to be fair to Leicester, Vardy was a nuisance, but the whole midfield, every time anyone got the ball, they were just in there, weren't they, all the time. Arsenal aren't that type of team. They're not a pressing team. I don't think they're a very... I think Sanchez is. Sanchez reminds me very much of Suarez, and that, you know, I mean, he's all, wherever he is on the pitch, he's trying to get the ball and score. Either off you or in his own half. He's trying to score. It's very much Suarez light. I don't think Arsenal are, and I think that could help us a bit in that. I agree with you. Henderson's great at getting the ball, and it's gone. 1 touch, 2 touch. Chan's almost, I've got the ball. Oh, now what do I do? Oh, right, now I do it. I do think giving him a bit of help, so dropping Wijnaldum a bit deeper is one option. And
just for him to know, there's always going to be a pass 5
worst
yards.
Worst case is, I'll knock it to him and let him carry on with it. I do agree. I do think the way if Ozil plays where I do think he's going to play, that could also be a little bit of a help to Chan as well.
Okay. So moving on then, Lewis, we'll come to you. We normally do the key man predictions. Yeah. So who is yours?
Got to be Firmino, definitely. I mean, as you said, he's without a goal for a while, but it's his press, and I think that's where it starts with the team, and because he's so full of energy and gets the ball. He's the guy who can start attacks. So Firmino for me, he's got to be there. And if Coutinho has got the space because of Firmino, I can see Firmino getting a goal, and he does it against the big clubs. He's done it against your Cities and the likes of that. So for me, Firmino.
Okay, Jamie, what about you, mate?
I'm torn between Coutinho and Mane, purely because Mane's goal against Arsenal at the start of the season was absolutely outrageous. But I think Coutinho, moving on from his goal against Leicester, I think he'll probably build upon that, so he'll just be a nuisance for them as well. But
okay.
Yeah, I'll go with Coutinho.
Steve?
Mane for me, I think...
Nice one, you've had the front three.
I think...
Chris is going to say Champ.
I think Monreal and Gibbs...
Shit, not now.
I think Monreal and Gibbs, isn't it? Whoever plays left back for them, that's something you can target. You know, Mane had... It was Monreal on toast in the away leg, didn't he? He just couldn't. He didn't get near him. Mane was just taking it all game. He was a threat, and he ends up scoring an absolute world. But it kind of links into Lewis's point. Firmino will have to do his job buzzing around and stuff. If Mane gets that diagonal run on the go, if Arsenal are playing and we do counter, which we probably will try and do, they're not stopping him. You know, Monreal's not stopping him. He's just not. He's not good enough to. So. He's definitely the man for me. I think he's going to score. In fact, if I had to put me money on someone scoring a goal, I think it'll be Mane, which is a bit mad because I don't think our centre forward's going to score a goal. Yeah. Which you can't. Luckily, it's a bigger game where you can kind of get away with that. Yeah.
I'm going to go for whoever partners Joel Matip. I think it's going to be a massive game for them, for Liverpool or against Liverpool. Either way, I think they're going to be a key man because, look, if Dejan Lovren comes back into the side, we need to see him throw in a tackle early. We need to start fast just as a football team anyway. And for me, they've got some great players. Alexis Sanchez is a great forward. Our centre-backs are going to have their hands full. And if they play well and they can keep Sanchez to minimum amount of opportunities and all that type of stuff, then they'll be our key man. Okay, so quickly on to score predictions. Steve?
3-1 Liverpool.
2-1.
4-3.
Again? Nice. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool as well. And then the trivia answer. Jamie, do you know any of them?
I got Yossi Benayoun.
That was the hardest one, I thought.
No, that was the easiest, Yossi. Was Jermaine Pennant one?
I'm not on.
You're not on?
I have Benayoun.
I thought that was the hardest one.
I thought I'll bank on Benayoun and no one will say it and then I'll look quite clever. But,
yeah, I thought that, because he was only on loan at Arsenal, wasn't he?
Benayoun's the only one I can think of at the top of my head.
So you've got Benayoun,
forgot about Pennant.
Jermaine Pennant, one of them plays for us now. He's a goalkeeper.
Oh, Manninga.
He doesn't count, though.
Does he count?
Why?
That's the hardest one.
That's the hardest one.
Why still at the fucking club, idiots?
Has he played for Liverpool?
I forgot.
I think that...
I don't know about Manninga.
Right, come on.
Not
Dead easy. He broke through at Arsenal age 17, was unbelievable, signed for 500,000. Yes, there you go. And the last one is dead easy as well.
Can we just clear this
It's not Michael Thomas, actually.
Has Manninga
he was
played
the
the game
sixth.
for Liverpool?
It was.
He played in
He's part of the Invincibles.
Colo?
Colo.
Yeah, I should have got that one. That was bad.
There you go. That easy. If you got them, you're
better than us.
You're much better than all of us.
Manninga.
As always, If you've liked the video, please do give it a big thumbs up. Give it a things
Give
up.
it a things
Give
up.
it a double things up. Fucking give her a double things up. Do whatever the fuck you want with these things here.
Cut that out.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That's
Tom,
totally
make a
fine.
note.
That's totally fine. I'm totally fine with that. Like, my wife knows. It's all about the double thumb.
Mate, just
Because you can grip.
end the show. End the show. There's kids watching this.
No. Leave us your comments as well. Of course, we'll be in the comment section an hour after the video has uploaded, chatting to you guys. And of course, subscribe to redmentv.com. It's just £2 a month. Gents, thanks very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Up the motherfucking Reds.